What's up, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to The Real for Real. I'm Isaiah, and of course, I got my other host here, Kevin and Trevor. So we thank you for tuning in. We appreciate y'all so much. Today we are digging into, hood film legends right now. like these are like
top 5 hood films,
right? Top 5 hood films. But we're gonna put 2 of them against each other. We're gonna talk about a little bit of Boyz N the Hood versus Menace II Society.
And which one is a superior film? Which one did it better?
I think I know which one.
Which one ages well? Which one can you just look at today in 2021 as we're about to close out this year and be like, this is the number one?
I think I know exactly which one it is.
And I think I know which one.
I'm sure.
I think I know which one too.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
All right. So somebody putting their flags out early. Okay.
I'm putting mine out early, but you can go ahead.
I do have to say, I did think it was interesting when you guys proposed this idea for the episode, because I didn't realize there was a big debate. I always thought both of these films were great films that could stand on their own and deserve to have their place in cinema history, but...
Yeah, no, there's been a lot of people that's been pitting these up against each other. Like, hey, Boyz N the Hood, Menace II Society, which one? There's been Reddit debates. There's been people on YouTube talking about it. There's been people over the years talking about it.
On Reddit.
Yeah, everything.
Is oxygen really good for you?
That's true. That's facts. That is facts.
Yeah,
but it's just like,
nothing.
just over the years, like even just growing up, I just be like, hey, Menace or Boyz N the Hood, and like most people will say Menace, but let's talk about these movies. Let's really dissect them and figure it out.
Right.
And let's start off with character development, right? So we got 2 main characters that I'm gonna start with in Boyz N the Hood. So we'll start with Doughboy and Trey.
Yeah,
right?
that's fair.
Okay. Character development for these 2 I think is great. And then we have Menace II Society, we got Kane and O-Dog. So let's compare and contrast, and let's just start with that, right? So for me, Trey, I like his story a lot because it's relatable to me, at least. Is it relatable to y'all?
Yeah.
I think Trey is written as a very palatable character.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to necessarily be in his shoes to understand, you don't have to be Trey or live in the area that he's in or be connected with his world to connect to the fact that he's a good kid trying to just make it.
Exactly.
I get the point you're trying to make, but I have to disagree with your wording.
Ooh.
He's written as a palatable character.
There you go.
He's a well-written character, period.
Bam. There you go.
He's written as a palatable character. I stand by that. He is well written, very much so, but he's also very palatable when you compare him to Kane.
Kane might not be well written.
Ooh,
Okay.
We already bringing him out.
Okay.
Ooh,
All right.
Okay.
Oh, wait. We were supposed to tease it. People aren't supposed to know where I stand.
I'm gonna let you know now. They coming for my movie.
I mean, I guess it's obvious for me, but man, let's look at Boyz N the Hood. Let's think about this. So Trey,
okay,
right? I think the character development for him is great.
Yes.
Because Boyz N the Hood, it starts off as a coming of age movie, right? We see him growing up. Obviously, he has some problems in school. We get Angela Bassett, his mom, and she decides, okay, you know what? I need help raising this young man. So I'm going to move him to his dad's house so he can teach him how to be a man. And so that's what we get. So I think that's a really good story. Then we look at Doughboy, who is the brother of Ricky. And he has a different father. So she treats him differently. And so the way that she treats him shapes his path going forward. So I like that character development.
No. I think, and also funny along the lines of character development. But I think that it's shown in Trey, but also that the opposite of that, what effect is there when there's not a male figure there, is shown in Doughboy. I know we hadn't talked about him yet, but
that's what I wanted to get to. Yeah, that's what I wanted to get to.
Doughboy has other issues going on in his household, but
well, to his defense, his mom, he had him with a different dad, right?
Yeah.
She had him with a different dad because him and Ricky is 2 different fathers, right? And so she treats him differently. So to me, it's well explained why Doughboy gets the treatment that he gets and how he ends up becoming the character that he becomes as he gets older. So that just makes sense for me.
Yeah.
Then we got Menace II Society. Okay, so we got Kane.
So I do think...
Go ahead and break down Kane for us.
So I think Kane and Trey, in terms of what pushes them to be what they are, is explained both very well. Kane, we start off by seeing that his parents were already not they weren't the greatest of parents.
Yeah.
His dad is a drug dealer. His mom was a heroin
He
addict.
sees Samuel Jackson.
His dad is a
murder.
murderer. Yeah, his dad is a murderer. And as he states, that was the first time I saw my dad kill somebody.
I'll
but
pay
it would
your
not be the
ass
last.
when I feel like it.
Who you think you is, Ron O'Neal? I do like that scene. The whole scene plays out funnier than I think they intended to. Like,
man.
But I mean, but it's true. Like, I mean, the dialogue there, the internal dialogue or the narration we hear says that's the first time I saw him kill somebody, but it wasn't the last. And I just learned that it didn't bother me. Essentially, is what Kane says. Like, and then his mom was doped out. There was abuse in the household because he even says sometime my mom would smoke up or use up all the drugs my dad was supposed to sell, and he had to whoop a tail for that. Like, I'm like, you see, I think with both characters, you see what forms them, like what creates the characters that we deal with throughout the movie.
And then we got O-Dog, who's just America's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's his story.
That's what they gave us. They didn't give us nothing else.
That's his
to
story.
Be fair,
He's just a wild card.
that's all they
Somebody
gave
that
us.
just don't care.
Just don't give a damn.
That's it.
No, that's what they say. America's Nightmare. Young, black, and don't give up.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they said.
Oh, okay.
Like,
That's character development
Now,
there.
to be fair, I don't think that like his character is meant to be truly developed in that piece. I think he's just supposed to be a caricature of what I think the world looked at young, teenage, gangbanging men at the time. I think that's what he's supposed to be.
Okay.
He's supposed to highlight the worst of the worst in that scenario.
Well, that's one of my problems with character development. We get O-Dog, and it's not explained. Like, I would have liked to see, what does his household look like?
Yeah.
Who are his parents? Who's raising him? Where does he live? All we know about him is that he's introduced as America's worst nightmare. Basically, somebody that just doesn't care. He's going to do whatever he does. He doesn't think. He just reacts.
Yeah, no.
So I was like, dang, I wonder what it's like just, in his household. What was his upbringing? Like, who was raising him? Where was he living? Like, I would have liked to know that about him instead of just, hey, we got a crazy black dude. He'll shoot you if you say something crazy.
So
that's how I feel about that.
Okay, that's fair about wanting to know about it. But to ding it, I don't think that's necessarily fair. Because I think O-Dog serves the purpose he's supposed to serve. And that's to give you the image, especially for the time period. I think that's to give you the image, the audience the image of what they saw young black people in the hood as. I think he's supposed to serve as that person, the one person as that devil figure, the devil figure that I think was plastered across TV screens in the 90s, you know what I'm saying, or even the 80s in the evening. This is that he's supposed to be a monster. That's it. He's supposed to be seen as a monster. But there is even some character development, I think, that sits there with O-Dog as well. Is it great? I won't lie about that. It's not great. But I don't think he's the focus. The focus for their movie is strictly just Kane.
Well, it's Kane, yeah.
Where I feel like, you know what I'm saying, and I think that all goes back to what the Hughes brothers were going for versus what Singleton was going for.
So let me stop you there. What little character development do you see from O-Dog? Because I don't think there's any.
I didn't think there was anything. That's what.
So I don't know. I think so. For me, there's two, three scenes for sure that always stand out to me about like what you that's to help you to see that O-Dog is more than just the streets itself, right? In my opinion, one definitely comes at the beginning after Harold gets shot. Like there's still just like with anybody else, even though he's a straight monster, he still has some feeling for his friends. When he rushes to go get Kane off of the side of the road, when he's gotten shot, you know, there's sheer fear there. Like he wants to get it, he needs to get. Is it rough? Yes, it's still rough, but there's still fear there, and there's also a sense of realism too, in the sense that like, yes, Harold's dead. Like he tells Sharif, like, look, man, we can't waste time with Harold. Harold's gone. You know what I'm saying? But I think there's something to be shown there. Second scene for sure is of course when they're sitting at the grandmother's house, and the grandfather starts going on about religion, and you hear that he's also somewhat reflective of the situation that he sits in. In fact, it gives him a reason why he thinks that when he says later, I think black folks got too much religion anyway. it makes sense because after he sits and talks about it, there's no way. The same scene happens in Boyz N the Hood too, but he says, "Yo, it can't be no God. Look at where we living at. This place is all," and he gets ready to cuss, of course, and then he's like, "My bad." So he fixes his statement for the fact that he's talking to somebody.
Which is actually the one time he shows respect for anybody sitting at the house.
I mean,
that's
fair.
real. Yeah.
And then of course at the end of the movie too, like there's a at the end of the movie before Kane gets killed, O-Dog is sitting there in a sense belittling him because he's getting ready to leave the hood. Mm-hmm. But in its own right, I think that's also showing like the lack thereof of feeling about like that he got about his own self. Like he looks down at
he's seeing his best friends about to leave.
About to do something better, but he ain't got nothing better for himself.
Okay.
So how does it come out? By him, ranking on it.
Possibly.
And then of course, and then he gets killed after that.
Yeah.
Kane gets shot up, and he's watching a couple people who got shot up in the yard then.
Yeah.
And he's moved by it. He's legit moved by it.
Okay.
So I think there is Is it great? I'm not saying it's great for him.
Okay.
But I do think it's pretty good for Kane.
All right. I feel like you're reaching a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But I mean,
you're reaching a little bit, but that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's valid. Yeah,
that's fine.
All right.
What about other characters in Menace? Who are because let's start comparing characters. Okay, to me, the cast is just good. In Boyz N the Hood, there's just a lot of people. Like even when we're looking at Trey's mom, Angela Bassett, she's a well-developed character as well. I think she is. I think she's.
I don't think that's fair.
There's nothing wrong with her.
Good. I wouldn't say she's a developed.
She's the mom who is working hard to make the best out of her situation and leave the situation.
Because you get a lot when she has that conversation with the teacher.
On the phone.
The problematic teacher that comes at her a completely wrong way. But
I think
and that's when you learn that she's working on her master's degree. And she's willing to sacrifice her relationship with Trey because she's going to drop him off to live over here, which takes time away from them. But she's making the best out of. Look, you need a man in your life.
Yeah.
You need a male
she understands
figure,
what her son
and this
needs.
is what your son. This is what my son needs. Bam! I'm going over here. Well developed. Even if we're looking at Ricky and Doughboy's mom, because if you want to be honest, she's the thought of the neighborhood. She is the one who is always trying to get it furious. She ain't got no man at the house. She's always just seems like she's throwing herself at somebody. That she has 2 different baby daddies.
We gotta do that.
She is the thought of the neighborhood.
I never looked at it as a thought.
I never thought.
No, she is. She's the thought of that gang. She is.
I mean, Farious did say at the table. She might have had a chance if she didn't talk to him.
He did say that.
That's what I'm saying. And it's
she know how to cook barbecue. Though.
I'm telling you, man. You know how to cook barbecue, though. Yeah, that's
she ain't lost a touch.
That's exactly what he said. Exactly. And man, it's funny, like how she started off. Like she starts off angry, right? In the beginning, she's kind of just cussing that doughboy. You ain't never gonna be nothing. You gonna be just like your daddy, whatever. And then like her mood change whenever Doughboy gets back out and they have the barbecue. And then just like she's just more. Her spirit just changes because she knows that Ricky's going to get a scholarship most likely, right? Yeah. And so, but I like the way her characters developed. I thought she did really good. Nia Long.
I don't know if her spirit changed though. I think it
so?
just depends on the situation.
Okay.
That time she's dope. I mean, as a mother, every mother's just going to be happy that their son is out and at home, and that she can go and hug him whenever she wants. Now, that doesn't mean she loves Ricky more. That doesn't mean Ricky's her pride and joy. Because Doughboy. I mean, you see at the end when Ricky does get killed. What did you do? What did you do? How did you get Ricky caught up in this?
And even still, like the moment he gets out of jail too,
that was
for the party, what's the first thing? Trey walks in and she says,
"Talk to him.
Please go talk to Darren.
Help him maybe, not make this mistake.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of you will sprinkle on him.
Yeah.
Which I'm like,
So, and we didn't even hit on Furious Styles in this.
This
movie. Like, come on now.
Lawrence Fishburne made
come on now.
He's one of the large reasons why I love this movie. His performance is great. The character is just cool.
The conversations he's having about
and
leadership.
And this one is Lawrence.
Yes.
Because, he used to go by Larry.
He used to go by Larry. Yep, exactly. There you go.
At this point, he's Lawrence.
There you
brought that sweat to the set.
Thank you.
Because that girl was moving.
He said, go ahead and straighten up right quick.
The conversations he's having about teaching his son to be a leader, not a follower. A good conversation. Teaching his son about safe sex. First of all, asking the question. And I like how Trey makes up this funny story that we all love, that's iconic. But he gives this story because he doesn't want to come off as, oh, that's embarrassing. I don't want to tell my dad that I've never done it before.
Yeah. Ain't that
like
something?
it's,
I thought that was a really nice
and he
touch.
says this is my first time I've ever lied to my dad.
Yep.
And because it was just like, oh, like, you know, because he knows his dad is like, his dad was cool, right? He doesn't want to look at his son like, oh, you ain't done it before? Like, he doesn't want to be clowned for it or feel less than. So I thought that was interesting. And then just, bro, Furious, the style, the gentrification scene, that was good, but I know y'all like to say that's after school special.
Well, I'll get to that point later.
It is a little unnatural. You just start, you start talking to these two young men, and everybody in the neighborhood just walks across the street and
and ask the right questions at the right
What's
time.
gentrification?
Well, I'm glad you asked, son.
But you know why I like that scene though, as unrealistic as you may think it may be. Even when he's sitting down, he's talking, he's having this conversation. I like how you can see Trey and Ricky. They're like, oh man, they're a little uncomfortable, and they're looking around because people are starting to walk towards their way. Because number one, it's not their neighborhood, and number two, these are some young. They're like, oh man, we about to get jumped, we about to get something. But I like because it shows us that we aren't just these savages, man. If somebody's over here doing something positive and kicking knowledge, we'll come through and we'll listen. And they even make comments, like they say some stuff. And then the old dude says, it's because y'all killing each other. Like, it may come off preachy to you, but I think it's just trying to show that, hey, no, brothers in the hood will sit down and listen to you if you're really kicking some real knowledge. So I like that scene a lot.
Well, I'll definitely say, like I said, overall, are there more characters developed in Boyz N the Hood?
Oh, it's night and day.
Sure.
Night and day.
There are more characters that are used and developed.
Like Sharif's character in Menace II Society, I guess they just say he's ex-knucklehead turned Muslim, and it's kind of weird that the Nation of Islam brothers riding around with them when he's trying to change his life spiritually and just.
But I think they gave you what his. They
gave you what he was. I know they said,
and he serves that purpose.
They said it, but
he's developed well. Like he's developed to what they.
Well, I like what Don't Be a Menace did with it.
They don't say a lot of things
because it's a little
silly. So you need to take what they said there.
Yeah, like he's.
They told you exactly what to think in that one case.
In that one case,
you don't get development with Sharif because Sharif is there.
That's true.
Clearly, like they said, this man is there for exposition and for the plot purpose of giving knowledge when knowledge is necessary. That's exactly why Sharif is there. But I think, you're right. There are more examples in Boyz N the Hood because I think he just used more of an ensemble to work at. I don't think that's the purpose of the extra characters in Menace II Society.
And just think about Boyz N the Hood, like when we're having.
That's why they get good actors. Grandma, grandpa.
That's fair.
You ain't never seen them people in a movie again.
Those two were rough.
They were just from the neighborhood. They said, come on. We just need you. We need some old people. Come on, sit down.
Even the cousin, when he shows up to speak on his baby cousin, he came up way too high.
Hey, partner.
Junior from Players Club, you know. That's Junior. That's Junior for you.
That dude big.
But the grandparents, though, that's fun. Kane, you need to get your life together. Like it's just kind of.
And that old lady, every time she made a face, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, that's the choice y'all went with. That was the best thing.
Oh man, dude.
But I mean, I get it. Like I said, they serve the purpose.
Think what Boyz N the Hood. I mean, Boyz N the Hood's hitting on everything, bro. You think of
okay? So we switching gears to themes.
Yes, let's go to themes now.
Okay.
We've got it hits on religion a little bit.
Yeah.
Talks about
Menace
God.
did that.
But I like the conversation better when they were at the car show because it was saying like. Ice Cube, obviously, he's not a believer, but then you have his other friend that is a believer. Then you have Regina King having a conversation of gender, like God could have been a woman, could have been a man. Then we have Ice Cube, who's obviously disrespectful towards women because he uses the B word all the time. Then he gets corrected, and we have a conversation of like black women being referred to as the B word. This is almost like a conversation of like hip hop lyrics, like because hip hop was heavy back then. This was gangster rap era. This is when Cube was gangster rap. Women were B words. In lyrics all the time. So we're having a conversation of basically stop using that word, drop that word. Then we're having a conversation of practicing safe sex. AIDS was popping at the time. It was big. So talking about wrap it up.
That nice conversation at the cookout.
Yes.
And,
yes.
One of the best things.
I think it was Chris. He was all like, "Hey, yeah. You can't get AIDS from just getting oral sex. You know, that's how you avoid that stuff." And they had to spit game.
Had to spit game
and
let
him
know.
How he got it that wrong, but but a lot of people did.
A lot of
the whole
people
purpose of that scene was Singleton was trying to educate folks.
But he educated you in a pretty dope way. It's like
and
I
a
wish he would
homeboy
have
stuff.
approached the way he approached that scene. Though he should have approached the gentrification scene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was more natural. That's actually how those conversations.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna go out to the corner and get on my soapbox and see how many people walk up.
So majority of the movie is natural except for the gentrification scene. You would say?
Hold on. We talking themes
Wasn't there-
right now? Because if we go,
No. I just wanted to ask that. Question.
Yeah. I think so.
Okay. All right. Cool. Themes. Okay.
all right, yeah, I'm gonna come back to that in a minute. Like I said, because that ain't on themes.
Let's stay focused.
No, hold on.
focused.
Boys in the Hood. We have minorities and cops. How minorities are treated in the hood and how cops are treating us, right, in these neighborhoods. What else we have? Boys in the Hood is sitting on so
You
many
ain't gonna
different
talk
things.
about that
man.
brother Isaiah,
Huh?
the brother, the black cop.
the black
you got
cop.
to say about his
No, I
action?
do
His
got
dialogue.
I just have to say, like that's another one of those. Just it's not written preachy, but man, is that on the nose?
Well, you know,
I was like,
well, you know what's interesting about
You know
that
what I
though.
mean?
You know what's interesting about it. Think about that scene and when Furious, he shoots his gun, the burglar leaves, and how long it took for the cops to get there.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Because
no,
that's showing you that look, we ain't coming to this neighborhood anytime soon. We just gonna like
And then the white cop pull up with his cup in his hand, eating a sandwich, and then he's slow getting out the car. too.
slow getting
Yeah.
out the car, like back to this.
And-
It's
But like,
but I like that
they
scene
don't-
too.
they don't
I like that
provide a
scene.
report.
I like that scene too because it's now we're having the use of just black versus the N word at this point. Because
Yeah.
I feel like he looks at Furious says, "Oh, he's well articulate."
Yeah.
Oh, like he almost looks at him like he's one of the good ones.
So that
one
one,
of the
but
smart
that
ones.
one also, like the N word versus black gets used a little bit in Menace too, because that comes from Sharif at one point. He starts talking to him about the whole, because they make fun of it in they make
Boy,
fun of it in Don't Be a Menace.
Don't Be a Menace,
Y'all
yeah.
need to stop using it.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. Well, it's done better in this, I think.
It is.
I
It's
think
done
that
better.
most of what
It's
I
done
think
better.
what I think that y'all are like putting together as better is the fact that they give you a clear right and wrong in Boys in the Hood. Versus
That helps.
versus them allowing you to have to kind of think through the consequences of certain things in the other movie. In Menace, I think they talk about safe sex. There's references to certain things in there. However, what you more so see is how people are irresponsible with sex in that movie, instead of like getting a spoon-fed answer. So you
That's
see
good.
people having to live with a consequence. Now, the troublesome thing is it one of those things where it's plain, like, is it obvious to us that they're going to do that? No, but I think that's what the Hughes brothers want. At least that's the way I felt. It's giving you the situation. You've got to figure out how you feel about how that
So
works.
I'll say something for that.
That's how I feel.
So I don't have a problem with that. It's not obvious. I think my problem with Menace, and I love Menace Society, by the way. Love it. I can quote the entire movie. But the thing with me is, okay, if I get one of my white homeboys to come sit down with me right here and say, let's watch Boyz N the Hood first, and then let's watch Menace, I feel like Menace is going to completely miss the entire message. Maybe he'll get it when Kane dies at the end. That's maybe. But I feel like Menace was made
Not yet. Yeah. I agree.
100% for black in the neighborhood, in the hood.
I would agree.
And so,
I'd agree that that's their goal,
sometimes,
their target audience.
and sometimes I'm hesitant to like the white critics out there that are like, masterpiece, best movie of '93. Because I don't know if they get it like that. They probably just like, man, it's almost like they could be looking at it like, whew, that was entertaining.
So
like that was something. That's what Watts is like.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I do.
You
think,
know, like that. I'm kind of hesitant. I'm like, I don't know. Like,
No, I feel what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Trevor. I'll tell
No,
you.
I was just saying I agree. Go ahead.
Because I will say, like, I understand what you mean about saying that, but also, I feel like Boyz N the Hood is a more palatable movie simply out of the fact that when you watch, like we talked about like we talked about Trey's character. Trey's character is not confined to just being someone from the hood to a certain degree. It's
right.
any person can connect to the idea of that, and Doughboy too. Anybody can connect to the idea that, like, yo, some of us got parents that can't stand our tail.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us can deal with the fact that he retaliated against this, that, and the other. But on the other hand, there, like when you're saying that, like, yeah, it could be tough for a white person to watch Menace II Society and say, that's the better. No, I don't think that's the case. You're right. It might be made for just people in the hood. I could agree with that. But I also have to say that in a sense, not that it was intended to be made palatable that way, but I do think Singleton was smart enough to give a character that people will pay attention to from whatever walk of life, is what I mean.
Yeah.
But I think I get what you're saying. I think that's more so because of the fact in Boyz N the Hood, all the characters, you see them contemplating their decisions.
There we go. That
is very true.
There we go.
Decisions. Everybody can relate to that because
that's it right there.
We all make decisions every day too.
Yeah. No,
and
there is
Menace II Society, dog just pulling triggers.
But I'll also say that even goes to the different directing styles too, because Boyz N the Hood has a sense of safety at points in it. And what I mean by that is, most of the time when you see them in their neighborhood and they're chilling, it's only ominous when they want it to be ominous. The neighborhood itself does not feel like it doesn't feel always dangerous in movement. What I mean by that is, like,
I disagree.
Boyz N the Hood feels dangerous all the time?
Think about when young Trey is walking home from school, dudes are gambling, somebody obviously loses, bam, action just like that, somebody getting jumped.
Yeah, they want you to see that there. When he's at his dad's house most of the time, is there any danger out front there?
But I like that because it's also showing you it's the hood. It's lower income, but that doesn't mean that there's got to be gunfire all the time.
It's always it's in the background, and I think it's showing that the characters are just more used to it, right? Because when Nia Long is studying, the gunshot.
Yes.
When he wants you to know that it's dangerous, he does. What I'm saying the opposite on the Hughes brothers. Everything in that feels tense. When you watch the Menace II Society, you feel there's not a moment where it doesn't truly. It never feels settled.
No.
Even when he walks out, outside of his grandma's house, that is the calmest place in most of the movie. Calmest places are there in Ronnie's house.
But you answered your own question. Because that's how he wants it.
That's what I mean by the
Singleton wants it dangerous here, and then he wants it calm here. Menace wants it 100% just dangerous.
And that's why I like Boys too. I like Boyz N the Hood. But I'm just saying that's a choice.
No, that's good.
It's choices that they were making there, but that I don't think that the two are approaching the same way.
No, and I think that's why people
even in the shooting.
I think that's why people enjoy watching Menace more, because the stakes are pretty high.
It feels high
all the time. It's very dangerous.
That's fair.
I don't know if people enjoy watching Menace more. I think people enjoy watching Boys more.
I think Boys is the better movie.
Boys is the better movie, but I think people enjoy watching Boys more just because when you think about other movies that are tense all the time, which ones do you want? You like movies that are tense and then they give you a little bit moment to breathe and they chill, right?
Yeah.
And then they get back to being tense.
Yeah.
Other movies that are just tense from beginning to end, you watch that once.
Well, no, here's the question, because everybody feels different. Isaiah,
I would say...
No, guesstimate how many times you think you watch Menace?
Probably about at least 20.
I would say probably about the same. And I've watched Boyz N the Hood maybe about the same. Like, I've watched them both a lot of times.
Yeah, I've watched them.
The reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is because for me, being younger, I think I had to maybe have been in middle school the first time I watched Menace. And I had more fun with it than I think I should have.
Fun is not the word.
And that's and the reason why I say that is because I think of scenes as like when Kane jacks old boy for his rims. I was always like, oh man, that's funny. Like, it was just dope. Like, even though it's not cool, you're just a young kid having fun. You watch it with friends or whatever. You're like, oh no, you got him for his rims, bro. Like, stuff like that. And then he comes back, he counts his money. Like, man, I caught brother slipping today. Like, it's like you're having more fun with the movie than you should. And that's why I'm saying Hughes brothers they try to give you something so serious, and that's very serious. Like, it's dark, but you end up having like more fun with it than you should. And just even like when he's having a conversation with old girl, like, nah, I had my Jimmy hat on extra tight. Like, some dudes look at that like, hey, you better let her know. You better let her know. Like, you end up just having more fun with it than you should at times, even though you know, dude, you about to be a deadbeat dad. Like, come on now. But it's the way...
The wording is all...
No. I'm saying fun with it because I'm thinking about being young and watching this, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to the audience. I had fun watching Menace. As a grown man now in 2021, I'm like, ooh, the message gets lost here. It definitely does.
See, See,
the message is there, but it's like, oh man, it's a lot of, it's very,
I don't know.
It exploits.
I just think it does lean more toward the downward side. There's not a lot of pick me up.
Trev, come on, man. What you thinking, man?
I don't think it's a fun movie.
Yeah, you don't think it's fun. I mean, but like
even as a kid, I didn't think it was fun. I mean,
there you go. But you said you think for you it's like a one and done, though.
Yeah. So, but that's interesting to me that y'all have seen this Menace.
A lot
20
of people,
times.
yes, because people.
I've watched Menace 4-5 times max. Boyz N the Hood,
like 20, yeah.
Boyz N the Hood, 20 times, easy.
I think it's about even for both. I've watched both of them a lot.
I think it depends on what for me. I know it's not even for me.
I think it just depends on what you're in the mood for. Like,
that's fair.
What you in the mood for.
At the end of the day, presentation is a big thing for me. And I feel like there's a lot of grittiness, but also a lot of realism to Menace.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like there is some realism. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's no realism to Boyz N the Hood. But overall, it comes off very preachy. There's a lot of moments, like we talked about.
There's moments in Menace that are preachy as well, too.
There are, but a lot of those are
you've got to get your life together.
So, like,
that gets preachy at times.
How often does he go see his grandpa in the movie?
Not like twice.
Okay, then. Yeah. So it ain't that bad. And it's not very long that he's ever with.
No, it's not. It's not long.
But I will say that, like, that one feels a little preachy to me, and it's not in a bad sense.
Okay.
That's not me saying that I dislike that movie. I still, even though I've seen it considerably, like, if I've seen Menace 20, I've probably seen Boyz N the Hood at best, probably 12. So it's not far off. Okay. But what I'm saying is, if you putting them in front of me right now, you're saying which one I'm watching first, it's obviously Menace. And I think it's just a little more real, a little more gritty.
Okay.
And again, they do a better job of, instead of preaching it at us in monologues, because those happen quite a bit, oftentimes when they even present something that way, they also present it with an image along with it. It's like sitting in a meeting and listening to somebody talk at you minus the PowerPoint.
All right, I wanted to ask you
They can give the same thing, but they got to have a video.
I hear what you're saying. And then for that reason, that's why I don't like Menace enough, because it doesn't go far enough with what it's trying to say.
That's fair.
There you go.
I turn off Menace and I'm like, I guess.
And that's what I wanted to get to. Okay, so both movies, the good die young, right? That's a theme as well, because Ricky dies, shouldn't have, and then obviously Kane dies. So
in the good part.
Hold on.
Have y'all seen that meme where they're talking about Ricky when he gets shot and killed, and everybody's like, y'all can't tell me that man was about to go to the league if he couldn't die.
Oh, that's cold-blooded. That's cold-blooded.
I mean, he wasn't moving that fast. And I will say, Ricky is a bad character a bad character in terms of development. He is just babied the entire thing through. Like, there's not a lot.
Oh no, he's definitely baby.
We don't see very much change.
He's definitely pacified.
You see a little bit of that's why they had that fight.
But that's why they had the fight. He stands up.
And then his reaction to after the fight, and that's why he kind of just walks off and all that stuff, even though we all know he's been waiting for those scores. He wasn't worried about that. He was already thinking about a plan B, because everybody's just like, oh, you're going to do football. But he feels like he's taking advantage and being proactive when he's like, I think I might want to do business. If I can't get into college, I'm going to go to the military.
Yep, exactly.
I need to make something
He's weighing out his options. Kane, I'm going to be honest with you. Kane dies, I'm like, well, Kanye shrug. Yeah. Like, it's like, you reap what you sow.
Yeah. Your actions has consequences, sir.
See, it's crazy. Like, I felt the same way y'all did about, yes, your actions have consequences. But every time I watch that, I'm like, see, here's, I guess, where it stands out to me. I feel like people who, if you cannot find a bit of remorse as he's trying to make the right decisions in the end, I feel like that's also linked to the idea of like, if we're supposed to be in a place that says you can rehabilitate and change no matter where you're at, when you make that decision to change, as Kane does right before he gets murked, but he does make the decision.
But that's the problem with Menace, because the only time you see Kane weighing a decision, it's if I need to leave. Yeah. Do I need to go somewhere else to make a better life for myself?
And to be honest, the most blatant part is literally after he's been shot, when they have him internally think it through. He says, well, I mean,
it's too late now.
But all the other stuff he does in the movie, he's just doing. He's just doing
it. Everything is really quick.
Even O-Dog says it. You getting down, man. You getting down now.
Now,
like he's just getting deeper and deeper.
Just to be fair,
what?
O-Dog says that after Harold is shot. So it's like from the beginning of the movie, he's not technically in. But after the Harold situation, which also speaks to the rest of the criminal stuff he gets into after.
And when Kane gets shot, did he change anything?
Oh no, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
But
So he doesn't change at all. It's just,
Do we see Kane
just straight up.
contemplating getting revenge?
contemplating it?
No.
No, he's getting to a point. He's
don't
not
see that.
contemplating anything.
What-
He just
he's
acts.
made a decision.
Because what's brought up to him, he pauses, but you don't see it's not directed to where you can see anything. Because
And I think that's what
brings it up.
Menace needs more.
O-Dog brings it up and says, that's what I wanted to tell you. We found old boy who did this down for 187, and he just goes, let's do it. Like it
It's
does
quick.
feel
That's a
really
good
quick.
catch.
You're
Good
right.
catch. Yeah.
It feels like
quick,
a quick thing, and that's when he says the statement you said, "You finna get down."
Yeah.
Which by that point, it's odd. Kane essentially is Doughboy, but doesn't get the same
Yeah.
love that Doughboy.
Yeah, you're
gets.
right. You're right. Because Doughboy, we see him contemplate when he's about to put that last bullet in.
Yeah.
He's sitting there and he's like,
Yeah.
do I do this? And he decides to do it.
Kane sells drugs, Doughboy sells drugs.
Yeah.
But the difference is literally that, like you said, there's some contemplation, and we get to see direct influence of his parents belittling Doughboy.
I'm
as well.
gonna tell you what else is good about Doughboy and O-Dog. Doughboy moves more like an OG to me, more so than,
Then O-Dog?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I mean, so I don't think that either one of them would be at OG status, because clearly Doughboy hollers at, like, talks about old boy who was driving the red whip and says he like 27.
Yeah, he's 27.
But I also don't feel like Doughboy is supposed to be like high school age either. He clearly is like a little bit past.
He's older.
A little
but his
past
moves
that.
are more
Yeah.
calculated, and that could be because he's older. Obviously,
Well,
I mean,
Yeah.
O-Dog would be how old?
I think he's
Technically-
about so.
O-Dog
there's-
is younger, so
Yeah, he's like, what,
he's just
16?
reckless, I guess.
right
talking about
because
16?
I would guess 16
Yeah.
at the like maybe youngest. I don't think he's supposed to be 15.
Yeah.
But clearly about 16, maybe 17, because they even state when they do the car robbery and they get arrested, Kane's like, well, I got mine bumped down to a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
They didn't even give him time because he's still a minor.
Still a minor. Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
Clearly he's supposed to be considerably younger, but I think that describes the reason why they are looking.
And let's think about the ending for a second on comparing the movies to help make the final decision. So the way
I got my decision. You ain't got to worry about that.
Oh, okay. So the ending, think about that for a second though. At the end when we have Doughboy and he's talking about, I looked at the news, either they don't know, they won't show, or they don't care, right?
Yeah.
Message.
Yeah.
So to me that just, it hits a lot harder. You know what I'm saying? That last message, and then Kane dying, and I was like which ending for you did it for you? Like which ending works for you? Even though you think, all right, Menace is better, right?
I think the more impact.
Which is the most impactful?
I really like the ending of Boyz N the Hood. Really like it.
Okay.
I like how
That's
he
what I need
speaks.
to
It's
know.
great.
Thank you.
However, I still think that the other one is more impactful.
Okay, all right.
As he's sitting there running his whole life back and forth, looking at all the ways that he messed up. And the last thing, it ends on the question like, maybe, could I have done better? I don't know. And it just fades immediately out. Like, because technically,
All right,
I think
okay.
everybody takes it that Kane is dead. I don't think
yeah.
anybody sees it any other
Yeah,
way.
he's dead.
But like the way it ends is if there's a question like he could have possibly been able to change still from there. Nah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Okay.
The question it poses is just interesting to me.
So Trev, which one are you saying is a superior movie? Boyz N the
Boys
Hood?
in the Hood. Boys in the Hood.
No
Boys in
questions
the Hood.
asked?
No questions asked by far. I don't understand anybody else thinks otherwise.
Looks this way.
Get your boy, dog. Get your boy.
Hey, I'm going with Boyz N the Hood as well. I
I ain't
both
going out
movies.
like that. I ain't going out like that. In the words of Odin.
I love both movies. I love both.
Menace
but,
is good.
But this one is just
Boyz N the Hood is
this
just-
one is just the
Menace is better.
No, Boys in the Hood is the better made
If I
movie.
want preaching, I'll go to church.
Well, y'all let us know what y'all think. Maybe we're tripping, I mean, I feel like this is always going to be a debate. It's going to be 10, 15 years later, people are still going to be debating these two. Which one is the superior movie? Which one do people enjoy more? So let us know what you think.
Please.
Leave your comment, like, and subscribe.
Put it
We
in the
appreciate
comments.
you tuning in.
Tell them, please.
Tell Isaiah he's wrong. Boys in the Hood, clearly the better movie.
Menace, 20 minutes.